The Supreme Court on Friday stopped the Trump administration from deporting more migrants to a notorious Salvadoran mega prison, saying the government has to respect their due process rights. The final decision was 7-2, with Justices Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas dissenting. All three Trump-appointed justices backed the ruling, but it only applies to people who haven't been sent to El Salvador yet. As for those who are already there, new reporting shows some of them came to the U.S. not only legally, but through one of the most stringent legal immigration programs available. NBC News correspondent David Noriega spoke with the family of a migrant sent to that prison in El Salvador and says that he's actually a vetted legal refugee. David, what more are you learning?
Yeah, good morning, guys. So I've talked to many of the families and the lawyers of the Venezuelans who were deported to El Salvador, but a few of these cases really stand out because these are cases where the men who were deported had actually already gone through a rigorous process to prove to the U.S. government that they didn't pose a threat to public safety. Take a look. Before they ever set foot in the United States, Lisbeth Sanguino and her sons went through months of vetting, in-person interviews, and background checks to be resettled as refugees from Venezuela.
Aquí están los boletos de avión.
Plane tickets. So she was shocked when the family arrived at the Houston airport and immigration agents arrested her 24-year-old son, Widmer Agelviz. The reason? A tattoo of a rose and a clock, which an agent wrote are associated with the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. But experts say Tren de Aragua does not use tattoos as markers of membership. And government documents show that Agelviz had no criminal record or other evidence linking him to the gang. And yet he ended up here, in a notorious supermax prison in El Salvador designed to lock up gang members and terrorists indefinitely, with no contact with the outside world. He's one of hundreds of men deported to the prison without a court hearing under the Alien Enemies Act, a circumvention of due process that advocates have challenged in court as unlawful, but which Trump officials have justified by calling the men a threat to the nation.
Our job is to send the terrorists out before anyone else gets raped or murdered.
We found, through government documents and interviews with lawyers and families, that at least 3 of the men, including Agelviz, had been carefully vetted to come to the U.S. under the Refugee Resettlement Program, a process for people fleeing war and persecution. My son, Sanguino says, is not a gang member or a terrorist. He's a soccer player and an aspiring engineer who looks after his younger brothers. His tattoos are references to his childhood, his grandmother's rose garden, and an owl that used to visit their home every night. The family's lawyers filed a habeas corpus petition in federal court alleging violations of due process. But for now, Agelviz has effectively disappeared. For more than 2 months, his mother has had no contact with him or received any information about his condition.
Yo como y siento culpa.
She feels guilty when she eats, she says, because she doesn't know if he's eating. How does this change your perception of the United States?
Totalmente.
Completely, she says. She thought the U.S. was a place where things happened according to the law. We asked the Trump administration about this case and the others like it, and they gave us a statement saying, quote, "We are confident in our law enforcement's intelligence, and we aren't going to share intelligence reports and undermine national security every time a gang member denies he is one. That would be insane." End quote. Now, meanwhile, we should be getting some news soon in the main lawsuit involving the men who were already deported to El Salvador. That's the ACLU's case before Judge Boasberg in D.C. And the big question there is this. If Trump is ordered to bring these men back, men like the one you just heard about, will he actually do so, or will he defy the courts? Joe?
All right, NBC News correspondent David Noriega, thank you so much for that report.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio was on Capitol Hill yesterday for a hearing on the